Welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. And on this episode, we're going to talk about a team that is one of the historically great teams in the NFL. Check NFL history. I'm not lying. That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers as they come to Indianapolis this week to take on the Indianapolis Colts, which should be a physical ball game, depending upon which Indianapolis defense shows up. My guest on this episode is definitely Pittsburgh black and yellow through and through. She definitely can be seen on your social medias, the Sports and Coffee, the Steelers chat. If you pay attention to social media, you will definitely see her. That would be Miss D. What's going on?
Hey, so sorry. I apologize in advance. My voice is still a little broken up from the weekend, but how are you? Thank you for having me. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but
Mhm.
always when the Steelers come to the facing the AFC South, you know who I gotta call.
Yeah, we're here. Unfortunately, last time it wasn't the outcome that I wanted, but
Yeah, hey,
whatever.
it things happen. Things happen. We're going to get into the Steelers and more, but of course, with each episode, we do start off with a get off your chest segment. This episode, I want to talk about people complaining about the refs. All right, here we go. Now, every game, someone talks about the refs and the refs. Man, if the ref wouldn't have did this and the ref wouldn't have did that, those different things. For prime example, Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, not Pittsburgh, but Kansas City versus Atlanta. Throws a pass in the end zone. Pitts pass interference doesn't get called. I believe they kick a field goal. I can't remember exactly what happened there, but pass interference doesn't get called.
Mhm.
Everyone's saying that cost us the game. That this. Okay, people often have selective memory when it comes to that because looking at that game, you would remember that on a fourth down play where they were like fourth and like inches. You basically could have snuck the ball with Kirk Cousins. You decided to run a stretch play with Bijan Robinson instead of running directly at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Hence, you don't get the first down. Hence, the game is over. Hence, Kansas City wins. So, while you're pointing all those fingers at those different things that didn't happen, you always got those three fingers that point right back at you. So you may want to kind of examine that and,
Mhm.
and think about, hey, if your team is good enough, if your team is a winner, they will find ways to win despite all the other things that are happening. D, you got anything you want to add?
No, I don't. I do believe that. I know that I don't like blaming the refs. I don't like them having significant impacts, but there are those times where they've been impactful and made kind of momentum shifts for games. And you get those letters, like the teams tell me, like we hate getting those letters when the refs tell us
Mm-hmm,
we messed up, we made a mistake, and
mm-hmm.
I don't like blaming them, but they do sometimes make mistakes. So
Well, they're
we
human.
have to still hold them accountable.
I don't know. Oh yeah, you definitely got to hold them accountable.
Hmm.
But the thing I also would like for people that are watching to do is simultaneously hold the players accountable
Yeah.
and the actual referees as well. I don't care if you blame the referees or go with the referees and whatever, but don't
Yeah.
say one or the other and just be like, oh, it's okay. Nah, it ain't okay. Because in life, you don't get to blame everyone else for all the issues going on. Sometimes you got to look at yourself.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's where
think,
I kind of come from.
yeah, I don't think that they should be able to make you win or lose the game. But
Hmm.
you know, like there is just so many situations where yeah, things could have gone differently based off a call or there was a blatant call that was missed. But
Hmm.
I still feel like your team should put you in a position where you should win in spite of that calls. So I
All
get
right. Right. Good teams win in spite of, in my opinion. But hey,
that. Mhm.
I'm just one man. All right, but of course we're gonna go on into the show. Of course, do have to talk about that team wearing black and yellow, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers, which are 3-0. Which
You
I'm
know,
pretty sure a lot of people did not expect the Steelers to be 3-0.
is that a question? Because
No,
well, I mean, if you have it, honestly, maybe people didn't think we could beat LA. But people were downplaying Atlanta when we saw Atlanta in the last 2 weeks. they haven't looked bad. They haven't looked horrific. They could have pulled out a win against Kansas City. They pulled out the win against the Eagles. Um, we saw what Denver just did to the Buccaneers last week. So they didn't give us credit for the opponents that we had on the other side. So am I surprised we went 3-0? No. Are other people surprised? Probably. I think because people get so set on what the offense is or isn't to them that they don't think that we can go out there and win.
Well, definitely, I would say I'll count me in as the people that I am people that was surprised. Because I
Mhm.
was interested just to see how things were going to go, how the quarterback play was going to be. George Pickens, seeing how he was going to do. I was interested in a lot of different things. It was a team that piqued my interest going into the year, just because of the different changes, but also the things that stayed the same. So, as far as that, speaking of things that changed.
Mhm.
I would say Justin Fields at quarterback. I mean, he doesn't have the wow numbers, but he's playing steady at the quarterback position, and I would say he's part of the reason why they're 3-0. So, what can you just say about him? Did you expect this from him?
I expected this offense to do what it's doing. I expected more touchdowns. I did have expectations for more touchdowns, but I don't have an issue with any of it. I think what I love about the offense is it's almost a little unpredictable week to week because you think it's going to be one way, and Arthur Smith gives you something different. I love what I'm seeing from Arthur Smith more than anything because he's catering to Justin Fields. He's catering to what he knows these defenses are going to put on the field. He's catering to the strengths of this team, and I love it. I love it so much. So not so much on Justin Fields. I feel like he's doing a good job, a great job, and not turning the ball over. He had the one interception last week, but I can't necessarily say that's his fault. Um, but he's just doing a good job. He's having a solid 3 games, and I don't think there's a lot more besides getting in the end zone that you could really ask more of him.
I really did like the pass I saw he threw last week as well. He dropped back, he threaded the needle on one pass. I was like, oh, okay, then Arthur's in his
Yeah.
bag, and so is Justin Fields. So, I mean, to be honest, for those that are in the AFC South, you can remember all the way back when Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans and how he made that offense look spectacular too with A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill. You had Derrick Henry, you had Delaney Walker at tight end, Jonnu Smith part of that time too, all
Hmm.
those different weapons that he made look even better and accentuate. And honestly, just to tell you, when the Pittsburgh Steelers made that move to bring Arthur Smith in as offensive coordinator, I was like, oh yeah, that offense is gonna be good. I already knew it off top.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's just I think it's a comfort thing, and I even love Zach Azani. I think is how you say his last name. I always just call him Zach. But the wide receivers, I think he is phenomenal. It's a different energy. It's just a different vibe, and I just feel like collectively, this team, this offense, is just thriving off of the energy, the positive energy within that team. On that opposite side, it's different.
Definitely, definitely. What isn't different though is the Pittsburgh defense. 4 interceptions so far, fumble recovery, 9 total sacks, 3 of those by T.J. Watt, and only giving up 9 points a game. I mean, how impressed are you with this
9 points
defense? Or
a
did you
game.
expect
I
it?
guess if you're averaging the fact that six was so it's 10, 6, and 10. So if that all adds up and divides by three, I guess it's nine.
Yeah. So how did
Yeah.
what did you think? I mean, how impressed are you with this defense so far?
I'm super impressed. I actually came in, I was a little worried about how we were going to be in the secondary. We got new corners back there. I was a little concerned, but they have definitely soothed that concern for me. Look, they've had a shutout in each half of each game. 3 consecutive weeks, a team has either not scored in the second half, they haven't scored in the first half, or they haven't scored in the second half. So it's just been phenomenal to watch them just be so dominant, so game changing, game wrecking. You've seen, and I say it over and over again, when you need TJ Watt, it's like clockwork. When you need him to make a ridiculous play, he does it. And it doesn't, it's insane. The instinct, he's coming, but still somehow you manage to let him free and get to your QB.
Yeah,
It's
it's
insane.
almost like it's almost like he's the Jason or the Michael Myers of defense these days.
Yeah, he's gonna come. He's going to make a play. It's just so phenomenal because and I don't know how people don't give him credit for it because he does it every week. At this point, you're probably bored. I guess you're bored because it's like, oh, that's TJ. He's just being TJ Watt. Nothing else to see here. But then you have Nick Herbig, who came up with 2 sacks on the opposite
Mhm.
side when Alex Highsmith unfortunately left the game with injuries. So now you got two Wisconsin boys you got to worry about on each side. And I think the LA Chargers had to hurry up and recognize and start accounting for Mr. Herbig on the other side.
Yeah, definitely they did, and they accounted for him on. They tried to account for him, but Herbert unfortunately caught that injury, and Taylor Heineke stepped in. For those in Atlanta, they're very familiar with him, and
Mhm.
DC they are very familiar with him as well. We're gonna kind of switch over. We're going commercial free on this episode, by the way, folks. But on we're gonna kind of switch over to the Steelers now facing the Indianapolis Colts. Now, of course,
Mhm.
before I go there, this show is sponsored by EBO Beard Butter, 10% off everything but beard boxes with the promo code MPAFC10 and Garrett Logistics. Just to throw my sponsors out there, I'm not going to neglect them, even though we're going commercial free. But let's get back to it. The Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we're going to start with talking about this Indianapolis Colts defense versus Steelers offense. Now, boy, oh boy, the Steelers should be kind of licking their chops. Najee Harris should be too, because the Colts in 2 of their 3 games have given up 150 plus yards rushing to a Josh Jacobs and to a Joe Mixon. Now, last week they did not against the Chicago Bears. However, we know the Chicago Bears have issues with their line. Anyway, Pittsburgh, I know they have an injury up front to the rookie, and he's out. However, they're still solid up front. So in this game, do you expect Arthur Smith to kind of maybe dig up a Derrick Henry special in terms of using the running game exclusively against this Colts defense?
Yes, and I don't know. I don't know because we just have some injuries. Najee was apparently wearing a sling after the game, so I don't know the significance. I'll
Hmm.
find out here in a few minutes from Coach. But we'll see the significance of Najee's injury. We'll see Jalen Warren also left the game with injury. Don't know. Cordell Patterson stepped in but looked phenomenal. So I definitely expect to see him out there against the Colts. So it all depends on who we have, who's available, and but I don't think that we're going to shy away from the run because it's been so beneficial. And our number one thing to win these games is time of possession. And that is how our defense gets to stay so phenomenal is because they're getting rest. That's something that they didn't have over the last couple of years. Not they weren't getting the rest that they necessarily needed to make these amazing plays. So time of possession is critical. The run game is a great component to make that happen. And so I will not say that Arthur Smith isn't going to plan to run the ball, especially when the defense is, weak against the run. So just who we'll have out there, I don't know yet.
Got you. Totally understand that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm wondering if this definitely was an anomaly because they faced Chicago Bears. Now, it's no offense, not trying to drag the Chicago Bears, just stating the obvious. They have not been good in the run game this year. Um, of course, what else isn't good news for the Colts is the secondary. Juju Brents. Juju Brents was a guy they were depending on. He's out for the season after the first game. Now, of course, Kenny Moore was banged up a little bit in the last game. They don't have a lot of guys. You're like, okay, cool. I need to watch out for that guy in the secondary. So if you're George Pickens,
Mhm.
I know you're definitely wanting to see the football in this game. And I know Arthur Smith, with his ingenuity offensively, can basically draw some things up to get it going. So do you expect them to potentially try to attack them down the field, or do you kind of expect them to kind of stay within what they usually do in terms of their offense and trying to just make the smart plays and things like that?
I expect Arthur Smith to be Arthur Smith. I think it's not going to be what you saw 2 weeks ago, last week, or the week before that. I think Arthur Smith is going to do game plan according to the opponent on the other side. So could it be just attacking? It's going to be a combination. You're telling me your secondary is not good. You're telling me your run defense is bad. So it's definitely going to be a combination of those things, in my personal opinion. So I think Justin's probably going to have a lot of fun this game, and this could be a great win for this team with spreading the ball around. Hopefully, you saw it last week. You saw Calvin Austin. You saw Scotty Miller. Coming in and stepping in. So George Pickens will obviously be a part of that in some capacity, but we have proven we can do more with what people have said is less.
Got you. And I will mention that Van Jefferson, who played high school football here in Middle Tennessee, he did suffer an injury. So no, we might not see Van. So
Yeah, we'll see. I think it was an eye. So, like I said, we'll find out here soon. Coach Tomlin will give an update on everybody, and we'll have an idea of who's going to be at least practicing and what capacity this week.
got you. And then for those that don't know, that Van Jefferson is the son of Sean Jefferson, who was an NFL wide receiver at one point in time as well. Of course, last thing I want to talk about when it comes to this Colts defense versus the Steelers offense, Zaire Franklin. Now, Zaire Franklin was a monster last year for the Colts, and I think he's their best defensive player. Well, right now he is, because DeForest Buckner is out for the next, 3 games. So with that being said, I mean, how do you account for that man? That man pretty much goes side to side. He attacks the line of scrimmage, things like that. Do you think the best option would be to run at them? Or do you think it maybe to kind of throw a few things at him to make him run side to side and look at the too many things on the field?
Stop. Are you talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense? How they should stop? Like, what should
No,
you
no,
do
no.
against them?
I'm
Like,
mentioning Zaire Franklin in terms of the Colts' best defender and
okay.
how they could potentially account for him. Because do you think
I
running at
look. I
him, or do
think
you think of
that
those things?
I think of awesome offensive line, giving Isaac being out, giving Frazier not being available. I think they've done a great job adjusting. Like, things haven't gone
Mhm.
their way. So I think Bosa had to eventually leave the game, but I think they've done a great job. And with the mobility of Justin, he's getting better and getting more comfortable. Their communication is going to be key. Say they didn't have a great few series to start the game, but they didn't panic and they made the adjustments and they got better and they got in the end zone. So
Mhm.
I think the offensive line is going to be fine. And I'm not worried about anybody on the other side of that field. I'm just not.
Okay. All
Not
right. Well, let's flip it over.
Zaire.
Let's
I'm
flip it
not
over.
worried about you.
All right. Okay. Okay. So let's flip it over. We're gonna go Steelers offense versus the I'm not sorry. Steelers defense versus the Indianapolis offense. Good gracious, can I talk
It's
today? Woo.
okay. That's okay. I get
But
it.
Anthony Richardson had an interesting game last week. Of course, he's looking like a rookie, pretty much.
Oh wow.
And as the Indianapolis Colts offense, it's gonna shake up a few different things of what they want to do. And I know Pittsburgh is definitely going to enjoy seeing a young quarterback trying to find his way. Am I correct there?
Absolutely. 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 So
So,
everyone came in hyping up J.K. Dobbins, and he's just the top running back in the league right now, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and he didn't. What he had 20 something yards. I don't know, 40 something. I don't know, but he didn't have enough to say that he had a phenomenal game. So they
mhm.
did a great job. Our linebacker core right now is playing phenomenal. Patrick Queen had his best game so far this year, led the team in tackles. He was fired up. So I think that's just going to carry over. No, like, hopefully gone are the days where Minka Fitzpatrick is a leading tackler on this team. So be worried. Be worried about that linebacker core. Don't forget our rookie Wilson. I always want to call him Logan, but his name is Peyton. Peyton Wilson, also making big plays in the middle there. So the guys up front. I mean, Cam Hayward is doing things that a 30-something-year-old man probably shouldn't be doing, but he is. So good luck to that man. Good luck to what's his name? What's your running
Anthony
back?
Richardson,
No, not Anthony Richardson. I'm talking about the running back.
Jonathan Taylor.
Good luck to Jonathan, and good luck to Anthony. But most likely, Jonathan probably won't have the game that he would like to have. It's probably not going to happen. Anthony Richardson, I think he's definitely going to be watching a lot of film on TJ Watt, and he's going to
Mm-hmm.
be looking for him out of his peripheral. So good
Mm-hmm.
luck to him as well.
Now I didn't mention Jonathan Taylor yet, but he is the basically the heart and soul of this offense, in my opinion. He's gone over 100 yards since the first game he didn't go over 100 yards. The last two games he has, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see that offensive line of the Colts, which they did have one of the top running games in the NFL last year, going against this Steelers front, and I bet it's going to be a lot of pads popping, a lot of jaw jacking, a lot of physical play in the trenches. Now I look forward to seeing it.
It is. It's going to be physical, especially on those matchups, because they're going to drill in on stopping the run and making Anthony Richardson make some bad decisions. And I think he will. The pressure is on. Have the Colts won a game? They won one game?
Won one game. Their last game, they won.
Okay, sorry. I haven't done my Colts. I've been on the road for the last 3 weeks, so watching football has been very difficult. But yeah, and I think that they're going to strike fear just off the tape alone. So good luck, Anthony.
I mean, it'll be interesting just to see. He's going against he goes basically statistically the top scoring defense in the NFL. So it'll be very interesting just to see what Shane Steichen does. But you have two guys that are pretty good are good offensive minds, is Shane Steichen and Arthur Smith. So it's going to be interesting just to see what they can kind of develop. And also, what's going to be interesting to see if Mr. Michael Pittman Jr. can get off of milk carton status, because I hate to say it, and I like Michael Pittman Jr., but he's got to be better as the number one wide receiver. He's probably going to see Deontay Johnson probably a little bit this week. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers traded for him from the Carolina Panthers, so it'll be interesting just to see if Michael Pittman Jr. kind of shows up as well, because he's going to be needed in this game. Especially Alec Pierce is going to be needed, because that's the guy that takes the top off of defenses for the Colts too. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm interested to see that battle. I mean, do you have any thoughts on any of the Colts wide receivers or any of how Pittsburgh
gave us some problems? I think KZ is going to definitely try to come up in there and cause a scene because of what happened the last time they faced the Colts, and he was ejected from the game, I believe. I think he may be in for something. Might be in for a surprise. If Joey Porter's on him in any capacity, Joey Porter has had phenomenal numbers. You're not catching too much on Joey Porter. He's having a great year. So and our safeties, where it's Deshaun Elliott, who also has interception. Like Monte KZ has an interception. We have where our cornerback Deontay Jackson, he has an interception. So these guys are getting their names known and making plays happen. So good luck.
Yeah, and I apologize. I misspoke. It's Deontay Johnson, not Deontay Jackson. I guess I was just trying to call him Action Jackson for some reason.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely interested just to watch this game and just to see the physicality. Dante. See, I did it too. See, we both did it. But I'm just very much interested just to see how this offense, this game goes in terms of physicality, because it's going to be a very physical game, and the Colts are a physical team as well as the Steelers. And I'm just interested to see who can make the most plays, because, like you mentioned, the Steelers haven't scored as many touchdowns as you would like. And the Colts have been kind of interesting in terms of they're using the running game to make everything happen. So, it's going to be, to me, who can make the biggest plays in the pass game. Alec Pierce has done so for the Colts so far. Josh Dillon had one as well. With the Steelers, you haven't necessarily had a ton of explosives, but you have had some explosives. Don't get it twisted. You have had some explosives. So it was just interesting just to see what happens in that aspect. But, it's going to be a good game, good physical game, and we'll see if the AFC South can actually kind of right some of the wrongs, because this week was not necessarily the greatest week for the AFC South, especially on Monday Night Football with the Jaguars getting 40-some-odd points on them. So
not bad. It was a terrible. I refused to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars after they could not beat the Cleveland Browns the week prior. They were no longer allowed to be on my television. I'm sorry. I'm done with Jacksonville.
Ooh, yikes. Well, we're not done with the show, but we are into a game. The game on the show is 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. Are you ready, D?
Yes.
All right. First one, Beyonce or Rihanna? Which concert you going to?
Beyonce. Hello.
Okay. I figured you were gonna say
Yeah.
Beyonce on that one,
I've been
but
to a Rihanna concert and it's Beyonce. Love Rihanna though.
I hear you.
Mhm.
Baltimore, Cincinnati. You got to cheer for one team. Which one you cheering for?
Oh, Baltimore.
Okay. All right. International vacation. You going to Dubai or Bora Bora? Which country? Which place you going?
I don't know. It depends on who I'm going with. Um,
Ah, okay.
Bora Bora gives me more, a little romantic. Dubai, you can party in Dubai and have a good time. So depending on who I'm going with, if I'm going with my sister, we probably go to Dubai. If I'm going like with my significant other, then we're going to Bora Bora.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna let you get away with answering twice, but I'm gonna let
Yeah,
you get away with that
sorry.
one. All right. We're going to the sidelines. Pam Oliver or Lisa Salter? Which sideline reporter are you taking?
I don't, I've seen talk to Pam a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Lisa. I
Oh,
want to go
okay.
with Pam. I'm gonna go with Lisa. Lisa, they both been around for a long time. I'm just go with Lisa. Only because
Okay.
I haven't met Lisa yet. So I respect Lisa. So
Gotcha.
I'm go with
Now I
Lisa.
met Lisa. I have to tell you about that one off air though.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as the last question, we're going to entertainment. Issa Rae or Quinta Brunson? Which one are you taking for entertainment purposes?
I'm gonna go with Issa. I'm gonna go with Issa.
Now, Insecure is definitely still getting watched. I literally
Yeah.
I was late to the Insecure train, and then when I jumped on it, I literally watched it and never stopped watching it. So yeah,
I love
definitely Insecure. I'm still mad that her other show that was on Max it only had 2 seasons and was gone.
yeah.
For some reason I cannot. The name is escaping me right now, but I watched every episode of that.
Yeah,
The
look,
rap-ish,
Insecure is my
rap-ish.
jam.
There you go.
Was it?
Rap-ish,
Okay,
rap-ish.
yes. That was it. That was the
Yes,
name. I was like, I
yeah.
couldn't remember either.
Yeah, I liked that show, and then they got rid of it. I was like, "Come on, man, come on!" But they did have the funniest thing is I didn't recognize the guy that was the DJ or the guy that was making the beats and stuff like that. That was her child's father, one of the child's father. I did not remember he was the guy from Power Rangers. He was one of the people that was in Power Rangers,
Oh
the new Power
wow.
Rangers movie. I looked, I was like, "Hold up, this the guy from
No,
new Power. This the guy from Rapish. He was in
I
the
had no
Power Rangers
idea.
movie." Yeah,
Once Insecure left, I was like, I never looked back. But I think Issa, I would want to hang out with Issa. Like I just feel like we would
mhm.
have fun.
I would want to pick her creative brain because she's like, I'm a creative and I know she definitely is a creative. So I would love to pick her brain about ideas and kind of map those things out. But, it's another show for another day. It's 5 questions,
Right.
2 answers, and 1 choice. You are off the hot seat. D, if you want to tell everyone they can find you on social media, where they can find you on YouTube, anywhere else, the floor is yours.
Everything. I am on social media with D Love Sports, just about everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. D Love Sports is where you can find me, and you can see us. Sports and Coffee, the show, the family. We have moved it from Twitter to Playback, but you can find the link to our Playback room on Twitter. Sports and Coffee, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Come in with the crew. It's a ton of fun. We're like family at this point.
Mhm. Now, I will say
Okay.
it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard
Eastern,
Time, folks.
sorry, Eastern time.
So I just want to make sure because we all across the country and touring the AFC
Yeah,
South, so
you
we got to
are
make
wild.
sure.
You are wild. Eastern
There
time.
you go.
Okay,
There you
sorry.
go. There you go. Of course, I'm the host of Touring the AFC South. I'm Mike Patton. You can find me on these rough Twitter streets or the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82 on the artist formerly known as Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram and threads at that's THA, not THE _general_MP. Touring the AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we're there. And we are also on the Mike on YouTube, the Mike Patton Network there. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Touring AFC South. We're out. Peace.
Yeah.